Hello, I'm James Preston and welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. And in this episode, I'll be shining a light on Palladium One Mining Incorporated, a company that is focused on discovering environmentally and socially conscious metals for green transportation. With projects across Europe and North America, Palladium One has a large breadth of operations, and to take us through every part of the company's activities is the President and CEO of Palladium One, Derek Wayroach. Derek, welcome to Kalkine.
Oh, thank you very much. Good to be speaking with you, James.
Likewise. Derek, let's start very simply. Palladium is perhaps not the most well-known metal. What is it used for and why is it considered to be a socially conscious metal?
Well, currently it's used predominantly in the automotive sector to attenuate the harmful effects of exhaust from internal combustion engines. So it's used in the catalytic converter along with rhodium and some other PG elements, but mainly on the gas side of the engine. Whereas if you have a diesel engine, you predominantly have platinum at play.
Absolutely. Now let's focus on Palladium One itself. What is the company's overall goal?
It's really to supply metals to allow for net zero emissions. So our metal suite includes the platinum group metals, nickel, copper, as well as cobalt. And we hit every stream of the clean transportation theme, whether that be the battery metal complex for the electric vehicle that we're familiar with, the emerging fuel cell vehicle, which we're seeing increased traction on in the commercial sector, and obviously fundamentally the internal combustion engine for the current use of palladium.
Now, one big development recently in the US is obviously President Joe Biden announcing the Build Back Better campaign and the bill being pushed through the Senate there. That's obviously opened up a lot of opportunities in terms of the green space and looking towards a much greener future with around about 50% of cars and emissions being all electric vehicles by 2030 and then obviously 2050 looking to really cut through that net carbon neutrality proponent. Does that present a really big opportunity for you at Palladium One?
Well, it definitely does. Like palladium right now and the PGs are in strong demand, and there's actually pre-COVID been quite a number of years, about 8 years of deficit of supply, and it's a market that is very constrained from increasing supply to meet the incremental demands from tightening air quality emission standards. But we see ourselves being very well positioned, given we're not going to be snapping our finger and moving over to a fully electric vehicle for some period of time. There's going to be a transition, and we're already seeing that in the market with the hybrid vehicles. So the long-term play here, I think, is very good, and the fundamentals are strong for the PGEs. And as we end up going to the pure electric vehicles, certainly the hybrids will roll off at some point in time, decades in the future. But the PGEs, which is the dominant commodity in terms of our metal suite right now, naturally fit into the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle.
Let's now turn our focus to one of your key projects, namely Kalkine. Can you bring us up to date with the developments there?
Well, our key project is the Latina Kalliosomi, or LK project in north central Finland. We have existing 2.2 million ounces of palladium equivalent resources, and that's made up of palladium, platinum, gold, nickel, copper, and some cobalt as well. We had a fairly significant discovery back in August of 2020. We spent the time since then doing resource definition drilling. And we anticipate bringing out a new resource in Q1 of 2022, which ought to be significantly larger than what we have currently. The existing resource at the Kakua area covers about 1 kilometer of strike, and we have expanded the drilling there to the south and then farther to the east. We have mineralization over a 5 kilometer strike length. But our focus in terms of the upcoming resource will really be on an additional 3 kilometers of strike.
And Derek, what about the Tyko copper nickel project in Canada?
Oh yeah, that's gotten a lot of attention. We had a fantastic discovery there in December of last year. Award-winning grades, basically 10% copper nickel at surface. We've just announced some results earlier this week. We've extended the mineralization over 430 meters of strike length from surface, and we have a number of new anomalies, multi-line electromagnetic anomalies that we have also done soil surveys over. And those results came out this week and are showing some very elevated values of both copper, cobalt, and nickel in these new zones. So not only do we have this fantastically high grade discovery, we also have significant potential to add some other zones.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned there some of those anomalies that you're testing at the moment. How do you see those developing in the coming months?
The first and foremost priority for us right now is actually getting drill permits. So when we had the discovery of the anomalies, we applied for permits. So we're in a bit of a waiting game there, but we are anticipating having all our permits by the end of the year. And then we immediately look at coordinating with the drill contractors to start drilling as soon as possible thereafter.
And how likely do you think it is that you will be able to obtain more permits before the year's end?
Oh, we're quite comfortable that we should have it, but obviously, you always hedge your bets. So instead of applying for one master permit to cover an absolutely huge piece of property, we broke it down into 4 different applications. So as long as we get one of them by year end, we're good to get going. And but we still believe we should have them all by year end.
Now, I know there's a lot of developments, obviously, under the Palladium masthead, so to speak, but let's change gears a little here and take a look at the Smoke Lake development. Is there anything exciting happening in that space?
Well, Smoke Lake is actually the zone where we have that high-grade discovery. So that is the focal point for everybody, and it's a difficult story to tell because we have had such great success there. We're building out the ounces, while we have this very early stage project. It's 25,000 hectares in size in total. We've got these additional zones that are incredibly compelling, especially supported by the soils that we just announced this week. And we have numerous single line anomalies to chase as well. So there's a lot going on in this project, but I do caution it is a little bit earlier stage. But what we really like about this project is, we're not rehashing an old sulfide nickel project. This is new discovery, new territory, and that's part and parcel of what the market, I think, appreciates with what we're doing.
Well, let's talk about the market overall then. How do you see the palladium market at present, and do you think the commodity prices will go up, go down? What's the short-term and the long-term viewpoint for palladium?
Yeah, I think we're in a very volatile period. Since I got involved with this company, the palladium price went from about $1,200 per ounce up to $3,000 an ounce. It remains more valuable than gold. But what has happened is that we've had this chip shortage globally. That's affected auto sales, which therefore has affected the material spot prices, which in turn is affecting exploration companies such as ourselves. So, our share price was well outperforming all of our peers and the market, and for the last 4 or 5 months has slipped back as a result of this decline in the spot price, which, although different timings, it naturally affects the optics of an exploration stage company. So, but I think long-term, fundamentally, we're in a very good spot. The chip shortage is going to get rectified. Maybe it's the end of 2022 or so. But because there is so little capacity for existing mines to add supply to the market, given that 90% of mine supply is as a byproduct of other mining activities, that bodes well. As soon as there's a rebound, I would anticipate seeing a very nice rebound in the spot price, which hopefully translates into the underlying share price.
Well, look, you mentioned a correction there in terms of the palladium market itself and having overperformed for a period of time. What can we expect in terms of performance from Palladium One over the coming months, and where would you like the company to be in about a year from now?
Well, obviously a lot higher in terms of share price than where we are now, but the real key here for us is in Finland is getting the resource out. That's going to be a major catalyst that occurs in Q1. And it's going to be supported by a very advanced metallurgical program as well. So what we're really trying to do is de-risk the project from a technical perspective in order to make it that much more compelling to potential investors. But naturally, with this new resource, and if it ends up being what we think it's going to be, internally at this point, we will then be moving into a formalized preliminary economic assessment in order to give the market a better means to, or another means to value the company, as opposed to just ascribing a fixed dollar value per in situ ounce that will be able to present a DCF model. And in Canada, it's just a matter of keep working at the exploration, doing the drilling on these new zones, and hopefully, we had two very interesting discoveries over the course of the last 18 months, and hopefully we get a couple more over the course of the next 18 months as well.
Well, Derek, been great to chat with you so far. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our viewers and your investors?
Well, I think just stay tuned to the space. This is a more difficult market to invest in because these polymetallic deposits are not as commonplace as, for example, gold projects. But we see lots of opportunity here, given the structural complexities of the market, lack of supply, and fundamental demand.
Derek, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you, James.
You too. That's Derek Weyrauch, the President and CEO of Palladium One. And if you missed any part of that interview, all you have to do is head across to the YouTube channel Kalkai Media, and also make sure you give us a subscription there so you can stay up to date with every single exclusive interview that we do conduct. I'm James Preston, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkai.